What's happening?
Yo, this is an honor, sir. When I say honor, to talk to you because I'm a hip hop nigga. I'm a hip hop nigga. Like in my core, my veins, I'm a hip hop dude, as you see. So to have a legend like yourself on the show, I appreciate you. First off, Meth, you know what I mean?
Appreciation back, brother. Yes, sir, man. I heard nothing but good things about you and shit. So
I
this is
appreciate that.
eventually gonna happen. You heard?
I appreciate that. We share one thing in common. We're Jet fans, right?
Yeah.
How do you how do you feel about the score? How do you feel about the team right now, man? 3-6. You know, we got 10 days off to Arizona, I believe. What do you feel, man?
I'm gonna keep it PC. We got some work to do.
Okay.
Period. Basically, we got a lot of work to do, man. I ain't looking at no real like definitive shot at winning our division, even though it's a pretty tough division and shit. Um, but I always got faith. I'm a Jet faithful kind of dude and shit. You know what I mean? And hopefully, we can rebound and come back even stronger next year.
So you're off this year already. You're already on to 2025, right?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't even been to a game this year because I've been working so much. You
Right,
know, and
right.
I always want to be there to support the team, but I just haven't found the time.
It's been a tough year, man. I know you've been working and stuff every Sunday. I'm glued to the TV, not missing
Same.
games, son. This has been hard, man.
Oh, we pulled it off against Houston, even though they pretty banged up. You know, our defense held, man, and I love our defense. I love our offense as well. I can't even front. It's just that some of the pieces need to gel a little bit
Yes.
better, and that happens when you start moving pieces around. So can't really blame too many of the players. Um, but up top, you know, those guys need to work on a few things as far as staffing and things of that nature to get us back on track.
Last Jet question. Would you want Rex Ryan back?
Rex? I
Yes.
mean, at this point, man, I just want a fresh start. You know, that's it. It's
Now, hold on,
like,
man. Should we listen? We've never had an offensive coach in years. I don't remember the last time the Jets had an offensive coach. Every coach we brought in for the head coaching job has been defensive minded.
defensive minded. Yeah,
From
you're right.
Parcells to Al Groves.
Oh, I did. We did have the man genius, man
Yes, yeah,
genius.
man,
You
genius.
know,
Yeah.
but that didn't work out too well. I think there's such thing as a player's coach,
Yes.
and guys respecting the guy that's in an authoritative figure.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, plus it's New York. You know how we get down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We want to see our results and we want to see them now. You know what I mean? For real.
Absolutely.
We about
Absolutely.
getting money, so let's get money.
Let's get money, right, man? Acting, man. Talk to me. How have you enjoyed acting? Because my mom loves watching you. My aunts, they love watching you, man.
Oh,
So,
that's
you
fire. I love that. I love that. Acting is dope. I mean, I'm obviously this is why I haven't been able to make any games because of the acting thing.
know,
Um, I'm just glad that I was received well because there's a lot of times where we throw our hats in different arenas and doesn't work out well for us. And I would like to say I got lucky in some sense, but I also did the work. So, you
mm.
know,
Is it always because you've been a showman your whole career, though?
I
Because
don't know. I
for
don't
me,
know if that plays a part in it because I'm
okay,
saying like if you fail to plan to fail. You know what I mean? And I definitely took steps in order to if I was gonna step in front of the screen, I was gonna make sure I did it the right way. And yeah, like I said, I think it paid that.
mm, you've done a phenomenal job, sir. I'm not gonna lie to you, though. I
Thank you,
don't think
Birdie.
we're surprised though, because we watch you through your career since '93 down. Respectfully, man, you've always been a character. You've always been a character. You know what I'm
Well, a
saying?
lot of that had to do with my partner Redman. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
I
And
already know.
he has a different kind of energy. He hard to keep up with. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So a lot of it, I attribute a lot of it to that.
mm,
But this has always been me.
yes.
Especially in the early days of Wu-Tang, we were definitely like one of the most serious groups out there. But I wasn't never afraid to have fun. That's what it's about at the end of the day.
What is it about you that the Conways? I did see my man Sky Zoo. That's my guy Sky Zoo. He just grabbed you on the
Sky is fire.
That's
I've
my
been a
man right
fan.
there. Sky Zoo's my guy, yo.
He just embodies the morals of hip hop. You know what I mean? Plus,
Mhm.
he's a scientist with lyrics.
Yes.
So, what can you not say about an MC like Sky Zoo? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but I'm just saying, guys like Sky Zoo, Graph. I thought in 2020,
Yeah, Graph
man,
too.
You might not know this, but in 2020, I thought you had verse of the year with Lemon on Conway. Thought you had verse of the year.
It
It's
was so
crazy.
many great verses that, and so many great records that year, man. I was just happy to even be mentioned in the same vein as some of the newer cats and some of the other cats that's been here for a minute. You know what I mean? It's always good to be recognized for your craft. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What does it mean for you? Like RJ Payne, Grab. When I speak to these guys, right? When I talk to these brothers, and when their name is mentioned, it's nothing but respect across the board. RJ Payne was in my DM telling me, yo, three, I got this joint with meth that yo, I can't wait till you hear this joint. You know what I'm saying? So it just, Sky Zoo, when I talk to these brothers and your name is mentioned, and they all got you for their first joints. That'd be the funny thing. For their
I,
first singles of their new joints, Method Man's a feature on there.
I think a lot of it has to do with mutual respect. You
Mm,
know, a lot of the guys that I do records with, I'm fans of first and
mm,
foremost. Um, I mean, it's just one MC to another. A lot of dudes are not afraid to salute excellence and shit, and I'm one of them. So when I do run into these cats or I do interviews and their names come up, I give them their flowers early.
mm,
Facts, they ain't gotta wait for those when they come to me because I'm, like I said, I'm not afraid to salute excellence, especially black excellence, man, because this genre of music was created by kids. And
yes,
look where it's at
absolutely.
now. Look where it's at now. So you gotta really embody that and know this is why we feel like the history of it is so important because it came from a movement.
Mm,
This is when gangs were more or less like, okay, the violence thing ain't working because we losing too many soldiers and we losing too
yes,
many of our people to the system.
right.
How else are we going to show this form of expression? And the hip hop movement came from that. And I mean, it's fed a lot of families and put a lot of generational wealth out there.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? So
mm-hmm,
salute to hip hop and everything that it stands for. That's why we're so adamant about being gatekeepers and wanting some of the newer cats, not necessarily to know the records, but at least know the history
right.
of
Okay,
where the music came from. That's all.
got you. Do you impress yourself? Still at 50 years old, do you impress yourself when you drop a verse?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'll be like, ooh, 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 ooh. Wait till they hear this shit, yeah. But it's always a humble kind of ooh, ooh, you know what I
Right.
mean? It's like I used to be my hardest critic, now I'm my biggest fan kind of thing, you know what I mean?
You haven't lost the wordplay, the flow, delivery. Like that's a cheat code. I always felt, man, that was your cheat code. Your flow and delivery was a cheat code over a lot of people, fam.
I would say so. That's a great way to put it. This shit, you know your shit, three. Um, for me, I've always been amazed at how people can think that the older you get, you age out of something. But and I mean that is true in certain cases, especially with
Right.
athletes and things of that nature. But when we're talking about scholars or we're talking about chess players or people of that ilk, you don't lose that. That's brain material.
Got you.
You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Right.
So to think that an MC who's a true MC could ever lose that, especially if he's constantly working with his pen, because
Mhm,
practice makes perfect. To think that he would lose that just because he ages
mhm,
is ludicrous to me. I think age gains wisdom, and with wisdom becomes, those are the wise words that are being spoken right
right.
there. And then you get that clear understanding.
Mhm,
It's more or less like, damn, maybe I'm the ignorant one to even think that, just because this cat is a little older, or a lot older than me, that he would lose
mhm,
part of his edge. Nah, it don't work that way.
mhm,
Some of the they say some of the oldest gangsters that haven't been to jail or dead, they're some of the wisest cats in the game, and a lot of the younger cats salute them. And they
mhm.
call, OG, Unc, all of
Right.
that, right?
Mhm,
But we don't got that in hip hop. And I don't know what broke that line or that chain right there where the younger cats salute the OGs for still being here or still being, you know, to a point where they still repping hip hop in their blood and in their core and in their veins and shit. I can't understand that right there. I would, when I run into cats like Melly Mel, and I just ran into Mel, I tell them I love you, man, because you
mhm.
never know how long they're gonna be here for one,
Right.
and just the fact that they put themselves out there
Mhm,
with a genre that was unknown at that point in time, and they didn't do it for the money. They did it because they love that shit. You know what I mean? You gotta
right.
respect that, bro. You gotta respect
Absolutely.
that. Whereas now the game is more. I won't say twisted. It is what it is, but it's
Yeah.
more or less about assets and materials
Hmm.
than it is about your material that you bring to the game.
Matt, can I ask you this question real quick? Influences, right? Because I feel like when Nas came out, you could tell Nas was influenced by G Rap and Rakim, right? You could tell Hove had little Jazz O and Kane in him, right?
Yeah,
Pun to with rock with G Rap and all that, right? With you, it's kind of like I've never for all the years listening to you, I've never picked like Left don't sound like nobody. The
it
only other
was.
man who said a father to his style, right? I can say the same thing about you, your father to your own style, because I don't think you ever sound like anybody. I've never said Meth sounds like this person in the 80s coming up. You know what I mean?
Mm. Or I was just a bad imitation of my favorite MCs. That's all. Yeah. So this the thing. Staten Island. The thing about the five boroughs was this.
Mm-hmm.
Harlem had their own slang, but some of the slang would, go out to the other boroughs. Brooklyn, Queens, whatever. Staten Island definitely had their own slang. We talk different, you know what I mean? And in that moment, I say from 85 through like 95, it was about identity, where you were from. And where
Mm-hmm.
we were from, we embodied everything about the hood in Staten Island. Because if anybody was going to tell our story, it had to be us and shit. You know what I mean?
Word.
And knowing how people feel about the island. Anybody that's a real islander know that people that talk shit about Staten Island ain't never really been there. So we don't
All
really.
kill, stay with your projects. Be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah,
Tread light.
we don't really fall prey to all that. You know what I mean? Our
Tread light.
rebuttal is just come to the island and see for
Right,
yourself,
right,
kind
right,
of thing. You know what I mean?
right.
But just that alone really helped us stand out in New York because you hadn't heard anybody from Staten Island at that point, and the fact that it sounded just like, you know what I mean? It was like the
Mm.
struggle was the same in all these other boroughs that hadn't even touched Staten Island. They like, yo, these niggas is real. It's like next thing you know, everybody got a cousin from Staten Island or an aunt that live in Staten Island, that kind of thing. So I think in that sense, we did our motherfucking
Word.
numbers, and that's where my style developed from. All of that right there, man. I just embodied that shit.
Jadakiss always says that I never spit one whack bar in the 90s, right?
Mm.
I gotta
He
throw you
has
on
it.
this too,
He
though.
has it.
I'm,
Yeah, I don't
I'm,
think Kid
he
ever
has
spit a whack bar, nigga.
it.
Facts.
But
Period. You
I
really
feel
got to search.
real for real, right, Meth? But
Maybe before he was Jada, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like when he
yeah.
was like 13. Matter of fact, probably younger than that. He probably spit a whack bar. And since then, you
Mm.
know what I mean? Once that shit came out, it was a wrap.
It was a rap, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like I say the same thing about you, though.
Mm.
I,
Mm.
I, I mean, if you go to the What song with Biggie, if you go to Extortion with Mobb Deep, if you go to all listen,
I've had some stinkers, bro. I'm sorry. And I'm gonna play. You know what I mean? It's more or less
only one,
like
The Riddler. That's the only song I didn't like.
the Riddler. Yeah, and the
I didn't
Riddler
like The
was. I
Riddler.
wrote that shit in like 5 minutes because I was a big comic book fan, and I decided to go Batman nostalgic with it, not Dark Knight, but Batman '66
Right.
kind of thing with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. For me though, shit, there was a lot of rhymes that I just rushed through
Mm.
out of writer's block, and I'm in the studio and the clock is ticking. That's the worst place to write at, honestly. I'm just keeping it a buck, unless
Wow,
it's like
really?
a real vibe going on. Um, and just just jotting because at a point in time I was doing like 3 albums at once, my own, me and Redman's, and Wu-Tang. So it was a lot going on, and the creativity suffered somewhat. The Forever album, man, there's a lot of stinkers on there if you ask me. But that's just my opinion again.
Okay.
But like I said, there's something because I went through a long period of writer's block. You know, questioning my skills as an MC and things of that nature. Because, and I'm gonna say it was because all the guys that were coming out were so good. They were so good, and I'm sitting there like, how can I compete? And that wasn't the question I should have been asking myself.
Right.
The question I should have been asking myself was, how do I improve? Fuck
Mm.
competing. How do I improve?
Okay.
The answer came clear as day, and it was weird how it happened because, like my 15th time overseas that year, you know, and we run into some of the same cats, MOP, boot camp, running the
Mm-hmm.
Sean P. Ran the Sean P. Sean P. I was like, yo,
R.I.P.
cause
Sean P. R.I.P.
RP Sean P, right?
Christ, man.
And I had been listening to a lot of his shit. And I'ma tell you, like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. After like 3 months, it was like, wait a minute, that's Ruck. Wait a minute, that's Ruck. That's
Right.
fucking Ruck Helter Skelter. It's like I felt like a real asshole because I'm such a fucking hip hop aficionado, and I did not catch that because Ruck always had that frantic style, killing
Yeah. Right.
that shit though. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
them flows, like he was just a master of that shit. And I'm like, who is this grimy ass? Like, and not to make the story any longer, but Sean P. And I
Good.
was like, yo, so how did you? Like flip your whole shit like that. He was like, nigga, I'm better than these niggas. Period. That's all he said. I'm better than these niggas. And I thought about that shit and I was like, even if I ain't, I'ma write like that. I'm better than these niggas.
Mm,
Period. So
mm,
that right there just set me on my path of just um every words matter, everything that comes out of your mouth, people are actually listening, man. And ain't nobody gonna be harder on you than yourself.
mm.
Let's go. And I just started putting pen to paper and just said, fuck it, let's do it.
So let me ask you. All right, you guys dropped in '93, right?
Mhm.
So obviously, I'm gonna go back to '90 before '93. I'm gonna go '90 to '92 right quick. What is going on in Staten Island that you guys are watching back from your lenses? Like, obviously, we had Tribe Called Quest. Redman had dropped his first album, Time for Some Action and all that. KRS is still out here. We had Gangstar, we had Rakim Kane and all that. But what were you guys doing in Staten Island? Because house music, I thought New York for a while went through a little dip with the house music a little bit, though. I thought, you know what I mean? Went through a little
Yeah.
slip with the house music, the Cataricci joints, and all that.
Yeah, it's crazy though because I fought the house music trend for a while, but then it was
Okay,
like, yo, this shit kind of all right, bro. Started going to a couple of clubs. Now, mind you, I never got to the silky shirts with the pants with the shiny shoes and shit. Never
yes,
got to that stage.
the silver tip joints.
Right. Never got to that stage, but I knew the steps. Ask anybody about me. I was a dancing nigga. Real shit.
I'm
And I
not
knew all
surprised,
the motherfucking steps. And it was like, once you learn the steps, it's like the music get better.
right?
Period. But I mean, there was still, regardless to whether the club scene got big, also dance hall got super like
Yes.
exploded, right? Even
Mm-hmm.
though all that shit got big, we still had hip hop because we still had MCs putting it down. You still
Mm-hmm.
had Kane, you still had Rakim, you know what I
Max.
mean? Then Tribe, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about? Then even Jungle Brothers. People don't mention Jungle Brothers enough. Fuck
JB's don't
wrong
get a
with
lot of
y'all,
love
man.
though, for
The
real though.
fucking JBs, man.
Yeah,
Stop playing with
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Just and again, great
Mm-hmm.
fucking music coming out. So hip hop was on pace to do what the
Mm-hmm.
fuck it did. And it was bound to explode to what it is now. It just needed the right outlet or the right minds.
Yes.
And once that happened, that's when everything just started to eclipse everything. And every year was like pop, 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 to the point where people had to recognize that this music is setting the trends for the culture of everything. You
Wow.
know, everything, fashion, fucking. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop there. I ain't gonna keep going on, but period,
So,
everything.
do you remember who dropped in '93 with you? I'm gonna give you a
Mm,
list. I got you. I got you. Ready for this?
Midnight Marauders, right? They got the four mics that year, right?
De La Soul dropped an album.
Yeah,
KRS One returned to Boom Bap.
yeah.
Hardcore Quest, Midnight Marauders.
Ooh.
Tupac, strictly for my niggas, man.
Yeah, that was a dope album, brother.
Yes. Diggable Planets.
Diggable.
Cool like that and all that. Onyx, back the fucker. Onyx first album.
Let's
Back the
stop there.
fucker.
Hold on.
Okay, let's stop. Let's
Diggable
stop.
Planets. Man,
Let's talk. Let's talk, man. Let's talk.
man, yeah, people
I'm
have to
cool like that. I'm
understand
cool like
like the
that.
level of creativity that went into Mecca, Doodoo Bug, and fucking
Ladybug.
butterflies,
Ladybug.
just
Yeah.
just they
Yeah.
shit alone,
Mhm.
right? And then you add the lyrical content to the music years ahead of their time. We still need a Diggable Planets now because this was on the cusp of gangster hip hop coming into it, and that was a great escape, especially for those who were aware and when this word still meant something woke. Culture was needed,
Yes.
especially in our environments and shit. And they spoke truth to power,
Hmm.
whether you listen to the lyrics or not, whether you just listen to the hook. it was telling you something. They spoke truth to power. So we can go on though, but Diggable Planets deserves more than freaking flowers. They deserve statues in hip hop. You know what I'm talking about? Because they did
Wow.
something that was unprecedented to
Yes,
this day.
that's a fact, man. Onyx, back the fuck up.
Onyx. Back the fuck up. I remember that shit because we was in a couple of clubs with
Wait,
Onyx and
hold
shit.
on.
Niggas wanted to fuck them niggas up one time because they. No, I'm just saying, like we wasn't, we were Wu Tang,
Yes.
but we was still street niggas. You know what I'm saying? And they was slam dancing in a party and shit, right? Niggas bumping niggas and shit, and it was more or less like, fuck these niggas up. I'm like, nah, that's Onyx, nigga. That's Onyx. And then niggas was like, I don't give a fuck who that is, nigga.
Listen, Onyx made niggas get ball heads. Let's
Yeah,
keep
that's
it.
facts. Facts. Some niggas had to get bald heads though, but Onyx, they did their numbers, man. I'm talking about throw your gun, shifty,
Yes.
fucking just, and just that whole. They had brothers really on some grimy shit. The voice, the yelling, all of that. We hadn't seen anything like that before. Trendsetters for sure.
Talk to me about the session that you had. The Evil Streets remix with you on there is fire.
Mm,
That
mm.
y'all nigga, that shit is so grimy.
That shit crazy right there.
That record was fire, my nigga. I think Clue had that on tape. I heard a Clue tape first when I first heard that. The Clue tape.
Mm-mm. I remember a line Fredro said. I don't know if it's on that song.
Oh,
He was
Pedro said
like,
that shit lovely though.
that nigga said,
I'm a bus cutter,
you
basically.
got 100, you roll 100 niggas deep and not one of you got a gun. I lick one, pow, you see 100 niggas run. I love that fucking line right there, man. Yeah. Star, what up?
Math, hold on. Cypress Hill, Black Sunday.
Ooh, yes, 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 yes.
Listen, you got love for Diggable Planets, right? But I'm from Brooklyn. This album meant a lot to me. Black Moon Enter the Stage.
Whoa. Now, come on, man. Those was our compadres. We used to run into them all the time doing shows, man. Yes,
Mm.
classic. Classic into the
Math,
stage.
Souls of Mischief, 93 to Infinity.
So, my guys. What up, Ope?
What up? Oh, Ice Cube, Lethal Injection.
Lethal Inject. Come on, Ice Cube killed the game with that. I think he went #1 with that one, didn't he?
Yes, yes, he did,
Yeah, he
sir.
did. He did, right? Yeah, yeah.
Naughty by Nature, 1993.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We was there. That was a highly anticipated album because it was coming
Very
off. It
highly
was their
anticipated
second. It
album.
was their
Yes, sir.
sophomore joint. I
Mm-hmm.
remember Guard Your Grill. Fucking Freddie
Woo!
Fox was on that shit. Man, there's a lot of shit on there, man. For
Damn,
real,
say about
man.
your
Like,
grill.
I got connections.
Wow, yo, yeah, this nigga
Come
talking
on,
right.
man. We
This nigga's
talking. We talking here, brother. Let's
my man,
talk.
bought
You know what I'm
himself,
talking about?
bought himself. Fuck that, man.
Tretch still like that too. Shout out to Trigger.
Um, Lords of the Underground,
Lords of the LOTUG.
yes,
Shout out, do it all, do. You're
and all that. Queen Latifah dropped an album. Brand Nubians dropped an album on DMC. Eric Sermon. Now, I say that to say this.
hitting
All those
switches.
names I just dropped in 1993, dropped an
Mm.
album with Wu-Tang Clan 36 Chambers. And let me just say this. When I first heard y'all, it was so different. Cause I'm like, damn, this doesn't the beats, the things they talking about. It took me a while to adjust to y'all for a while and everything. Cause I'm like, this is different. This is so different. The production, everything like that. Like, was it Protect Your Neck? Was that the one that took y'all on Ralph McDaniels and everything, the box and everything? Was that it? That took off for you guys?
Protect Your Neck set it off. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It definitely did and shit. That shoot was crazy because we shot that shit for 3 months, but we only shot 4 days. You heard? Took 3 months to shoot that shit, but we only shot 4 days, nigga.
Oh man.
Budgets, man. You had to put that money together, you heard?
Yeah, yeah. The videos were low budget too. There was no Diane Martell, little X.
Nah, hell nah,
You
nah,
know what
nah.
I'm saying?
We had a dude. I forgot his name. I think his name was Kurt. Rest in peace. Rest in paradise.
Mm.
We called the nigga Crazy Shapiro because he was crazy. Something wrong with that motherfucker and shit. But shout out to him.
So how long did it take you guys to do 36 Chambers?
By the way, Crazy Shapiro is a character from a movie called Hey Good Looking that I
Hey, good
watched on
looking.
HBO when I was younger. Check that shit out.
Okay.
Fire movie. Fire.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm saying how long did it take you guys to do 36 Chambers?
Mm. Damn, I don't know. I was having so much motherfucking fun. It seemed like it didn't take much time because a lot of those rhymes we had already had over the years. Some of those rhymes we wrote when we was 15, 16 years old. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and it was pretty quick, depending on, like, again, budgets and shit. You know what
Mm.
I'm talking about? So, yeah, we did that shit in Firehouse.
Are there songs on here that you felt that you wish you were on?
No, the ones I'm on, I'm pretty cool with. Maybe, but that was a Jizzle joint by itself.
Mm.
Clan in the Front. That's
Woo!
my shit right there,
Oh,
man.
yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is it about the RZA, man? Because I thought for a 4 year run, I say from '93 to probably 2000. I don't know if there was a nigga fucking with RZA production wise. I love Pete Rock. I love Primo. Lost Professor. I love Eric Sermon. I love you niggas. Love you niggas. Love
I
you niggas.
think all of those cats learned from each other and shit. Even RZA took elements from each and every one of those dudes that you named.
Mhm.
It was just like I said, he had a different idea. And the kung fu shit, that shit hit harder than any of us could even imagine, you know. And hip hop was always born off familiarity,
Right.
even in lyrics. So
Mhm.
if you're fucking with something that people are familiar with or nostalgic about, it's not always gonna work, but it helps. And we didn't attack it like a gimmick at all because we didn't have a lot of Asian imagery and shit like that. And if we did, it was respect. We honored
Yes,
Asian culture.
you did. Absolutely.
And that transition from just street dudes to artists wasn't an easy road, but that helped a lot because it gave us structure, the way those movies were made and what they stood for: honor, respect, brotherhood. And we just stood on that and made it to where we are now. That was a good fucking answer. Nice. That was dope.
So I never thought I would see nine nice niggas. You know, in the crew, you'd be like, okay, that nigga's nice. The other one, he's
Yeah.
cool, but he stands out a little more. Nine
Yeah.
dope ass rappers, son. I've never seen that in my life.
It's
You know?
crazy because all those little sessions in the staircase was just something to do while we were smoking. And
Mhm.
dudes were good, dude. I mean, we were doing this shit since 13 years old. You know what I'm talking about? So, of course, you're going to be great or even good by the time you're in your 20s. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but still, you still have quirks and kinks that you got to work out, structure of how a song goes and things of that nature, which is when you have someone like RZA on board that can do that for you. And it helped a lot
Mhm.
because it taught us a lot of things, especially how to make songs.
Word. Talk to me about the sacrifice that you guys had to do though. I'm pretty sure a lot of sacrifice, man.
Yeah, that came, early in the career, and as you get more famous, it becomes a little bit more difficult. In the beginning, you get homesick. You want to go back to the block, enjoy the fruits of your labor, let people admire what you did, certain things that you did and shit. You want to talk about things, but the road don't always allow that. You
Right.
got to go out and promote.
Mhm.
And for us, promotion looked like this: 15 passenger van. We got about a 12-man crew. Um, we just going, I mean, early mornings, late nights, back to early mornings, on the road, going to radio that morning, then going to an in-store. Not to mention the freestyle sessions. You got to battle like everybody from that town and shit, showing up to see if y'all real MCs or not, shit like that. The coach flights where dudes don't have no etiquette. Hey, we was almost deplaned a few times, boy. 'Cause brothers, we
Oh
talk
man.
different. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We talk a
Right.
little different and shit. Make people a little bit uncomfortable.
Uh,
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
But the grind it is what it is, and it made us who we are today, man. But it definitely, once you get to that peak,
Mhm.
you know, there ain't no home.
Hey,
The
hey.
road is your home and shit. So yeah, it wears on you, but you gotta catch those moments and enjoy them while you're there.
Does True Master and Mathematics get a lot of love as they should, production wise? Do you feel?
Math definitely gets a lot of love, and True Master, yeah, I mean, True Master speak for itself because you can hear it in the singles. But
Mm.
as far as the law of math, I would say, and who knew? I mean, I ain't gonna say it's a bad deal, but it's a pretty bad deal that you invent something that goes worldwide and it becomes a multi-million-dollar franchise and shit, and you got about 600 for it. I
Damn.
mean, it's laughable now and shit, but Math been with us A1 since day one. He's my DJ too as well and
Mhm.
shit. You know what I mean? And
Right.
his contribution should not be minimalized. You know what I mean? Just because of the circumstances by which it came. He um he definitely gave us an identity with that
Mm.
W that he invented, and
Wow.
no, there's no amount of money or praise that you can give somebody that does that. So, yeah.
Do you feel you don't get spoken about enough in terms of hooks?
Mm, mm. I don't care about that shit.
You don't really?
Nah, I don't be caring about that shit, man. It's
Well, I
like
thought hooks were the most important thing in a record, though, man.
it is. It definitely
You
is.
kill
It
you got five
absolutely
mic
is.
you
But
have five mic hooks, so five
I
mic.
don't like as far as being recognized for
Okay,
something people should do. It's like,
okay, got
yo,
you.
ma, I cleaned the house. Yeah, that's what you should do, motherfucker. You should do that. You know what I mean? It ain't no great feat, but it's a kick in the head when
Right.
you're on stage and everybody's singing something that you wrote as a child. You know what I mean?
Mm,
That's dope and shit. But to be mentioned for it, it's like, nah, that's what you're supposed to do.
mm,
You're supposed to do that. That's what you do it for and shit. Nigga, the
mm.
fuck?
When you had the first only solo joint on 36 Chambers, METHOD Man, right?
Yeah.
As fans, should we have known that was a setup for you to be the first one to drop a solo album?
No, you
No. Okay.
understand. Like I said, we had been doing this shit since we was 13, and we were making tapes at Riz's house years before, three,
Mm,
4 years before Wu-Tang even dropped. So I think that sparked the idea to make it a Wu-Tang in the first fucking place and shit. Bring all your niggas in. That Method Man song was done already. I mean, just had a single on there too, Clan in the
yeah.
Front.
Yeah,
You know what I
front
mean?
on the
I think for the times that we were in, that was the perfect single, especially for the rhyme style that was being used at that point, because everybody was using references. It was like, like Godzilla, shit like that. You know what I mean? And then shit was
Mm,
hitting. Shit was hitting. I
mm,
mean, Kane did a lot of that shit too later on in his career. It was like that punchline, that punchline, punchline, punchline.
mm,
And I would say if you listen to Method Man, you can see a lot of the juvenile references in there and shit like that. Because I was young when I wrote the shit. You know what I mean?
mm,
Um, and yeah, it like I said, it was at that time it was the perfect song, I think,
mm.
coming out of that group. And then to contrast that with like Cream or Can It Be, it was like, oh shit. We thought these niggas was like jump around niggas. We thought they was, you know what I mean? Nah, these motherfuckers are serious. Deadly. And then by the time you got to ODB, it was like, holy
Woo!
shit, what are we witnessing here? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Crazy.
What is it with you and the Caribbean flavor that you have, sir? I know you're not Caribbean, but listen, I'm half Jamaican, right? So my peoples at times do not like hip hop music at the time. But
Yeah.
when Kate was in at the top of the song, yeah, when Kate was in, they loved you on there. Yo, you know, what I'm saying? Me like the rappers and them thing there, no dog. But man, me like him, Reggie, me like him.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's it. Pardon me.
Part of stuff.
That's a testament to the star power of Capleton. Very
Mhm.
respected artist, man. Roots and culture artist. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes,
Selassie High,
yes,
King of King, Lord of Lords.
yes,
Um,
yes,
but the Jamaican references come from the environment. Again, like I said,
yes,
dancehall hit
indeed.
really, really big, and in Staten Island, it was like the chosen form of music at the club or
Mm-hmm.
wherever we was partying at. Plus, everybody liked to rub a dub. It was cool. So like I said, the influence was there, and everybody used references that everybody can relate to. So yeah, and I mean that shit stretched all the way to Cali. How many brothers was trying to do you know what I mean, their little patois here and there and shit. Even Spice One and shit.
Vice one thing that's just a fact
Yeah,
though. Shout out
yeah,
Spice One though.
gangster.
Right.
People don't talk enough about Spice One, man. Word up.
Mhm.
Trigger got no heart. You heard?
Word.
Spice.
Him, MC8, I thought too. MC8 don't get spoken about.
MC8 as well. Yeah, eight.
Alcoholics,
Yeah, the licks.
love Taz.
Licks was just barred out.
Yes.
Period. They were
Yeah, they
bar
got him.
masters. You know what I mean?
Boss
Literally and
Eye.
figuratively. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Word.
mhm. And it's funny because even on Bring the Pain, you had the Caribbean brother on there. You know what I'm saying?
Booster. Yeah,
Yeah.
he ain't Caribbean, but he was a
Wow.
dancehall DJ.
Okay.
That was actually my brother-in-law.
Word. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
married my
crazy.
sister.
Oh, but
Yeah,
Obama.
yeah, yeah. And he worked on that one right there, man.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few of them out there and shit. Faking Jamaicans, they used to call them and
Like
shit.
in Jamaica, that's a fact.
But if you ask me, it was just homage at the end of the day. We respected those artists, man.
Absolutely.
Shaba, fucking every ranking you could
Would
think
you,
of.
Marshall
All
Killer?
the Demuses, Junior, fucking Nicka,
Yes.
all the Demuses.
Facts.
Fucking,
I said, all
my
the
man
demons.
I was Ninja Man all day, because Ninja Man, come on, man. Stop
Ninja Man was
playing with
crazy though,
Ninja.
man. He was wild. That nigga was crazy.
Yeah, man, very wild, man. You can't sleep, man. Come on,
Very
man.
old Dirty Bastard,
Barrington
Bastardish.
Levy. Yeah, it was a lot of. I mean, even Masters of Ceremony, Grand Poobah, Doctor Who, and
Woo.
fucking what was Don Barron.
Don.
Don Barron. We're talking about Masters of Ceremony. Come on now. The influence was there, man. We always had love for motherfucking reggae, dance hall,
That's all. Rockers, Stone
fucking
Love, and all that.
rockers, yes, rockers. That's what I was
Rockers,
looking for.
rockers,
Rockers. You heard?
Stone
We
Love,
was
and
all
all that
doing the
shit.
bogle, all that shit. We was bogling. We was doing all
No,
that
don't
shit.
do the flex. You can't do no. You can't do the butterfly.
Nah, we ain't.
Don't
It
do the
wasn't the
butterfly.
flex, man. They called that shit the Tootsie Roll down south and shit.
50-year-old man.
Jamaica was mad as fuck. Yeah, it's
Um,
not the Tootsie Roll, a
for real.
butterfly. Yeah, man.
The last episode of Young T Raps, man.
Mm.
I still got that on VCR, VHS, man.
Mm.
How much fun was that, man? Rakim, KRS, Prince Marky D, Special Ed. You had MC Search in there.
I was
You know what I'm
so
saying?
comfortable. I was so comfortable, and I think that was the first time I met Rakim too, man. So
Wow,
that
God.
was dope. But then the air went out the room when Hammer walked in. Boy, what? And Hammer came in cool as a motherfucking. You hear me? Cool as a fan, brother.
Word.
What? By himself.
Solo, Dolo?
Dolo by
Wow.
himself walked in there cool as a fucking fan and shit. And whatever I thought about Hammer went
Yeah.
right out the window that day. Right out the fucking window. I'm like, this nigga real. He raw. He don't fuck with Hammer. You heard
uh,
it? You
yeah,
heard? You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Ain't nobody
yeah.
fucked with Hammer either. Ain't
That's a
nobody
fact.
say no
No one did.
derogatory shit. Nobody say shit to Hammer.
Mhm.
Nothing.
That's a fact, though. That's a fact. How much pressure was it for you on Cal? Being the first one out the gate, man?
None.
None at all?
None. Nah. I was having fun. Be like the magnitude of what we was doing hadn't set in.
Mm,
You know what I mean? I had already been doing this shit, and the fact that Wu-Tang was hitting, it was
right.
like, yeah, let's go, let's fucking get it done. But when that flood happened, it was like, fuck out of here. Like, okay, that's saying something. That means I got to do something. It means I didn't do enough. And I ain't gonna lie, being on the road and trying to record that album again,
Wow.
the inflections were different. Voice was fucked up from like a lot of those sounds. The reason why my voice sounds so gravelly the way it does is because I was coming off the stage at 2 in the morning, going right to the studio with RZA to record, while other brothers was, they was doing their thing or
Right.
whatever and shit. There was no time for me to do any of that. No after parties, none of that shit. I was in that studio. Oh, the funny shit was I go to one studio and shit. Studio was fly as fuck. And I ran into one of no, like two of the guys from Troop up in there and
All I
shit.
do is think of you. All I do is
Oh,
think of you.
we fly away. Yeah, we did the
True
band
was
shit.
fire. True was fire.
Troop was fly as fuck, man. He
True
was
was
mad cool
fire.
though. It was mad cool and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
Yeah. But that was my experience with that album. It was a hard album to get done and shit. And I think I should get merits just for getting that shit done. Cause Def Jam was like, look, I don't give a fuck what he doing. We want our fucking album. This, that, and the third. Give us our fucking album. And then we had to get that shit done. And it still got 4 mics. I think that if I would have had the same time as let's say Ray or Jizza, I could have got 4.5, 5. I say 4.5. I'm gonna keep it
Biscuit,
humble.
Simulation, Sandman with the blood clot.
Yeah. Oh, if you could have heard the original stimulation, man. Word.
Word.
Yeah. And what the blood clot was always just
And I
that's one of the
sting you.
ones. That's the one we didn't lose and shit. Fucking Release Your Delph lost that one. A few of them, a lot of them, most of them. as a matter of fact. Um, but that one there, the What the Blood Clot joint, I remember I had an argument with niggas and shit. We was arguing over
Word.
some dumb shit. Yeah, something stupid. So when I wrote that shit, I was writing. That was my rhyme to all them niggas.
Not the subliminals, man. Not the
What
subliminals.
bad subliminals up in there, boy? I was mad as fuck. That whole verse was
Oh,
for them
man.
niggas.
Oh boy. All I need is you, man.
Mm.
Did you expect it to do what it do? What it did?
All I need.
Yes. Did you expect that?
I was scared of that record, man.
I read through the years that you didn't want to do that song at all.
No, I did. I did the song. I just didn't want to make it a focal point. You know,
Okay,
this
okay,
is me showing versatility on the album. I always had girl joints. Even when I was young, I wrote joints. You
mm,
know, pertaining to women and shit. I grew
okay,
up in a household full of them. You know, I ain't got no brothers. Well, I do now, but you
right.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, when I did that record, that was like, all right, that's one in the can. I ain't think nothing of it. But when they kept trying to push it for a single, I'm like, y'all trying to LL Cool J me. You know, on some I Need Love and shit. Somebody was like, yeah, he blew the fuck up off that record too, motherfucker. All right, y'all give me 50K, I'll do the shit. I think it was like 25K, 50K, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, buy me a car. I was supposed to get a Lex or something with that shit. I went and put that shit in the bank.
Smart man.
Niggas,
Smart
man, I
man.
ain't spend that fucking money. You crazy? Fuck.
What
Shit, that's rent.
was Mary always the first choice for the hook?
Nah, that came later on.
Because there's
Cause the
original the
original
version on
record,
now is different than
yeah, the original record on the album,
yeah.
on the original album, don't sound like that. Mary came
Mm,
later on, and I think that was a Puff move. You know, it came
mm.
with the package because they asked Puff to remix it, and yeah, yeah, that's why you get the lie together, cry together. Had to get that publishing for Biggie. Get that PIG
Shout
Puff
out
real
BLG.
fast. Honestly, nobody got Puff out. No, nobody got publishing. They took 100% of that record,
Mm,
as they should, because the process by which it was done in hindsight wasn't right. I got that from Snoop Dogg because I used to be upset about the fact that Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson took 100% publishing of that record. It's a beautiful record, you know, and I felt like, not taking anything away from the original because the original was a hit as well,
right.
probably bigger than mine. Um, but it was like I was bringing it back to the masses, and it wasn't a record that was misogynistic at all. It was basically me pouring my heart out to a loved one.
You saved a lot of relationships, sir.
Pretty much, right? And they took 100% publishing. Who knows why? Who even cares? I'm not here to justify the
Right.
reasons or anything like that.
Mm,
But I think that if I would have personally made the call and let them know how much of a big fan I was of the record, you know what I mean, as well as them, because they didn't sing on the record. It was Marvin
right.
Gaye, Tammy
Right.
Terrell.
Mm,
Um, I think that if I would have gave it to them more or less like that, it would have been a more amicable kind of deal between the
okay.
two. Again, I was mad about it then, but in hindsight, I look at it, I don't blame them. Um, I wouldn't have done anything like that, but I don't blame them, especially based off the way that it was presented to them. I should have made the phone call, not the label.
Mm. Street Life and Carlton Fist, man. Talk to me about
Hmm.
the brothers, because I was a big Street Life fan.
They still around. Street still be on the road with me and shit. Carlo, I see Carlo every now and then. Life happens and shit, and it gets to a point where brothers still live their lives and sometimes get caught up in different things that separate them from the
Right.
bigger cause. I would say that's what happened with Carlton. With Street Life, Street's always that's my little bro right there. He always with me, you know what I'm saying? Even when he not with me, you dig? Um, he's still doing the music thing, but he's basically transitioning to a more corporate kind of thing. So we're doing deals with water companies and I forgot this streaming, some kind of music streaming thing that he had going on and shit. I don't know what happened with that and shit. I guess we'll see more further into the future. But yeah, he's working on that end
He's
of it now.
fire.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the fact you had them all over to Cal 2000 Judgment Day album. I love the fact you had them all over that
Well,
album.
them niggas was with me on the road, man. It was there. Whoever showed up to the studio, especially niggas that had skills and shit. And these are niggas I fucked with every day. You know what I mean? Like you
Street
come
was
out your
dumb
house, they
nice.
there.
Yo, Street got some verses to me that just touch my hip hop soul. I ain't gonna hold you, man.
Hmm.
He done. He got a song with Deck and You God. I used to play on the semi-automatic, I think it's called. That
Right.
semi-automatic joint. Oh my God.
He got to join on the Killer Army shit, killing that shit.
Yes.
Yeah, street still got it and shit. But like I said, we get to a point where it's like, hmm, do I still want to play football or do I want to broadcast now?
Got you. I see
That
where you're
kind
going
of
with that.
thing,
Got you.
you know?
Got you. Yes. I got
Yeah.
you. Now, I just spoke about 93, right? 94, you dropped, right? I want to let the young people know in 94, Biggie dropped Ready to Die. Warren G dropped The Regulators. Gangstar drops Hard to Earn. Nas Illmatic. Pete Rock and C are the main ingredient. Outkast Southern Playlistic. The Brat Funkified.
Mm,
Artifact's first album. Boogie
hmm.
Monsters. Bone Thugs Harmony first album. Scarface. Organized Confusion. Redman
Mm.
second album. There's a Dark Side. Beatnuts. Keith Murray. Craig Mack. Jay with the Damager. Common. OCMOP. Fuji's first album. And Master P actually dropped the album in 94.
Wow. Damn.
That's some big dogs, man.
That
Literally.
is, that
Dogs.
is, man.
Hall of
And that
Famers, my nigga. Hall of Famers.
that's yeah, and that song still went #1, man.
Yes, my nigga.
That shit still went number. The record niggas, the record label niggas smart, baby. They smart.
You know,
That
you know
shit
what it is
still.
with you? I think, and I don't know if you feel me on this. I felt, besides 50 Cent, I feel in New York City, y'all two are the main rappers that I saw that the kids, street niggas, the ladies, and the regular 9 to 5ers all loved. You and
Mm,
50. Over
appreciate
Jay and
that.
Nas, believe it or not. I
Yeah,
thought.
I appreciate that. There was a time where, at least according to my bros, where I could have took a shit in Times Square and everybody would have loved that shit. I didn't feel it. Like I said, I didn't feel it at all. I always, like I
How?
said, I
How?
remained in this humble skin, and it was like I thought we all was getting that same praise. I thought it was a Wu-Tang thing, not a Method Man thing. So
You
that's
so hold
how
on,
I
question,
always
question.
approached
You
it.
never felt you were king of New York? You never felt the king of New York talk
Mm-mm.
shit?
Even when I dropped my motherfucking album, it was like, this is cool. This is cool, but it's a Wu Tang thing. I know it's because of Wu Tang. It's a Wu Tang thing. That's what it is, and that's how I always approached it, brother.
I feel you.
So it never impacted me the same way it had impacted those around me, kind of thing.
I got you
So
as one of my
yeah.
I got you as one of my top 5 live performers of all time hip hop history. I got
Mm.
you, Busta Rhymes, believe it, KRS-One, believe it or not. Niggas don't know. I'm an old head, so KRS-One.
KRS, yeah. I learned my lesson with Chris. I
KRS-One
did a
live
show with
shows.
him. I did a show with him. He showed up late too. I think he did that shit on purpose. I ain't gonna hold it against him. And when I tell you he went on, because I was the headliner, I waited for him and shit.
Yes.
And he went on and you could hear that crowd. He blew that shit up,
Yeah,
blew it
yo.
up. And by the time
KRS-One.
I went out there, half the crowd was gone. The energy was gone. I was like, never again, Chris. I'll get you back, brother. I'll get you back. All in good fun though. Go ahead. I'm
Fuji's
sorry. Go
cool.
ahead. Finish.
Fuji's also,
Yeah.
I would say. And
Fuji's, oh, Fuji's, yes. But
Fuji's.
Fuji's, that's a concert, even in the club. That shit is a
Mhm,
concert, man. You
mhm.
know, they're
Doc, hey,
incredible
Doc too,
artists.
though. I love Doc shows.
Hmm.
Redman
Yeah.
used to have some fire.
Red is
Crazy.
red. I put
Yeah.
Red high up on the list as well because
Mhm,
Doc
mhm.
is a cut. I mean, he started out as Doc's Effects DJ and shit. He was already an
Crazy.
MC, but he DJ as well. So you know how to crank it up. You know how to crank it up. It's hard to keep up with that dude sometimes on stage. It is.
Distinctive voices in hip hop, right? I say this all the time. There's guys that you just know when they come on, their voices just take over the track, right? I felt you, Chuck D, Rakim, Prodigy, Sticky Fingers, Tupac, and DMX.
X, definitely X. You know, I can get X's cadence every now and then. You know what I mean? Love that dude.
Love that nigga X, man.
Love
Good
that dude.
Lord.
What must I go through to show you? His cadence, everything. Like
Yeah, man.
X's
Yeah.
introduction, though, right? 4 3 2 1 for
Woo!
everybody and shit. Now, you just the first 8 bars lets you know who the fuck he is.
Right up the
Think
gut.
about it. Think about it. Stay out the dark. Because if I catch you when the sun is down, run it, clown. Come up off that. Or I'm gonna run it down. Run it down. However it's gonna go, it's gonna be that. You see that? That shit'll finish you, dog. Believe that. Where we at? Come on, do you value your life as much as your possessions? Don't be a stupid nigga. Learn a lesson. Come on, I'm saying.
That nigga there,
He
man.
letting you know exactly who the fuck he is and shit. Before niggas even, he told you who he was. He told you, stay out the dark, nigga. Because if I catch you when the sun is down, that dark man come out, nigga. Run it, clown.
Woo! Lord.
Yeah, y'all know what this is. It's the
Mm.
jokes. And that right there, his fucking impact will never be fucking matched. Period. The same with Pop. That impact will never be fucking matched, imitated, or even fucking duplicated. Period. There's gonna be people comparing, but never. There's only one of those, man. It's like one of ones right there.
How do you feel like you're one of the few artists to walk around these hip hop streets and be like, yo, my nigga, minus Hope? I don't think you never done a record with Jay, right?
Mm.
But minus Jay, you've worked at every Nas, Pac, Big, X, like who the
And
hell?
everybody, I ain't gonna leave out Jay just yet. You know, Jay might
Okay,
come back and shit. He might need a meth verse. You heard? I love
kind of
Jay
mad,
Z.
kind of
Jay
mad that
Z
never happened
signed
though.
off on my motherfucking budget when Def Jam was you know, it was a changing of the guard up
Yes,
there,
transition.
and he did not have to do that shit. In hindsight, I was pretty rough on a lot of people up there at Def Jam and shit, and he was one of them and shit. And yeah, they did not deserve that shit at all, bro. And I commend him for signing off on that budget because he didn't have to. For real, as president up
Wow.
there, he could have said this, that, and the third. Plus, I had already owed the company money for my last album, so yeah, he a good dude, man. At the end of the day, that's a good dude.
How about when people say the other side, the other guys in Wu Tang, the Killer Armies, Sons of Man, King Just, who I rock with heavy and all that, a lot of Dark Man and all these other guys and everything like that, right?
Right.
What? How can I say this? How integral they are in the Wu though?
We grew up with niggas.
Okay.
Like I said, Staten Island's a small borough, but it's big in its own
Mm.
right. King Just from the block. You know what I
Here we
mean?
are, here we are, here we
A lot
are.
of like anybody that you heard, even GP Wu, them
Mm.
niggas like that was like the first fucking Wu Tang where that shit was born at in Stapleton and shit. You know what I'm talking about? So
Right.
they have every right to claim their stake. Pop the Brown Hornet, salute to you, gangster. Love that dude.
Mm.
Yeah, but the affiliation is going to be because it's Staten Island, even UMCs. You know what I mean? I went to school with fucking Kim. We were in Fort, like, I got a picture on my Instagram. He's in the fucking class picture with me and
Blue
shit. Him
cheese,
and
blue cheese.
fucking Blue Cheese. Yeah, man. Fucking, I didn't even know the nigga rhymed and shit. Fucking
Wow,
Kim, yes. New York
crazy.
Oil.
Mm.
Hassan, Stapleton nigga, knew him, worked at the Statue of Liberty with him and shit, you know?
Wow,
So, yeah, all that, if that's affiliation, then yes, all of it. All
grave
of it,
diggers,
yes.
grave diggers too.
Grave diggers, absolutely. And you know, I was a fucking Stetsasonic fanatic. You know what I mean? They had that fucking Go Stetsa song. That's like, to
Mm.
me, that should be put in the motherfucking hip hop museum by itself. Cause that record
Wow,
used to it either started fights or fucking dance offs. You know what I'm talking about? For
right, right.
real. And that Go Brooklyn. It's like niggas from BK don't even say they from New York, nigga. They say they from Brooklyn and shit. They go other states and shit. Nigga, where you from? Nigga, I'm from
Right.
Brooklyn, nigga. And people know what they talking about. Period.
Uh,
Period. But
talk
yeah,
to
Grave Diggers, Prince Poe.
Prince
You know what
Poe.
I mean?
Yes,
Paradise, bro. Paradise.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, they did something that people hadn't heard before. We was sitting there listening to this shit like at first, you know, the whole gimmick and shit. I was
Mm.
laughing at first, but then I was listening. I was like, nah, these
Two
niggas
cups
is
of
killing
blood.
that shit.
Two
These
cups of
niggas
blood.
is they literally murdering that shit, man. You know what I mean? Can't
Uh,
forget Shabazz, Scientific Shabazz, Killer Priest, you know,
yes,
their
killer, please.
contributions as well, you know what I mean? A lot, man. There's a lot going on. A whole
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the tunnel days,
Mm.
boy, man.
Mm.
Boy, let me tell you, brother. Whew, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, my first time. Well, okay. We was at the tunnel with shit. You know, we used to go up in there every now
Pretty
and then.
deep, sir, sir. Pretty deep, y'all went, sir. Pretty deep.
Yeah, I ain't like the tunnel and shit. You know what I mean? The atmosphere was just weird to me. And the bathroom made it a little worse and shit, you know, because I ain't one of them, I ain't no pervert, none of that shit, you know what I mean? And to have it could be a little shaky dog in there for a female. You know what I mean? And just the whole atmosphere in there was like you never knew what was gonna happen. Niggas was getting in there with knives, guns, all kind of shit. And a lot of people was just coming in for the experience, coming to party. You know, they ain't come there for that bullshit. You know,
Absolutely,
niggas
absolutely.
done got hit in the head with bottles many a night. The bouncers was never quick enough. No disrespect to y'all, but y'all niggas used to let niggas fight. Like
That's a
fuck it,
fact, man.
they don't pay
Yo,
me enough, nigga. You know what I mean? Try and push the whole crowd to the door. Niggas ain't even in the fight getting pushed out the fucking door. That kind of
damn,
shit.
that's
And
crazy.
the tunnel was treacherous, and I think a lot of people love it because of that shit. Y'all some
Mhm.
twisted motherfuckers. Y'all some twisted motherfuckers for real.
What was the relationship with the Wu and Mobb Deep? Because
Niggas
y'all done
love them
rock with
niggas.
other people, but y'all rock with the Mobb pretty heavy
Niggas
though.
love them niggas, them two little niggas, man. Niggas
Mm.
love them niggas, man. For real. I remember listening to their album and shit. Oh, my bad.
You good,
God,
man?
jeez
Man,
Louise. Y'all done
man,
seen my chandelier, all kind of shit.
do me a favor, man. You can turn your phone sideways. You probably want to see
Huh?
better, man.
You
Sideways,
want
like
to turn
that.
it
If you
sideways like
can.
this.
Yeah, like that bad, man. No, we good now. We good. We Gucci. Yeah, I'd rather see like that. Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me
I should have
see.
been thinking that. My bad.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah, so, yep, up. Hold up. I
You
need a
straight, bro.
bigger
You
bass.
straight, man. You straight, man. You
I
good.
need a bigger bass. That's, oh, there
You
we
good, bro.
go. Right there.
Mhm.
Ah, shit.
We good. We Gucci now. We great. We great now. We
All
great
right,
now.
so
Yes.
Mobb Deep, right, playing their
Love
first
those niggas,
LP and
man.
shit. These dudes was in the van with us, and we was on our way to a show, I believe. And there wasn't enough room in the van. I remember H was right there in the middle on the floor, sitting there just bobbing his head. And I mean, this album was fucking us up, man. But I mean, we was tight like that. Like everybody can't get in that van like that. Or
Mm.
some niggas would have such an ego they would want a seat, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And we just love them niggas, man. You know what I mean? We just loved everything about them niggas. Plus, they was label mates, so that there was that. Yeah,
When did we get at you with Havoc? When is that happening, sir?
that shit done. But the timing reason for that was that album's a 2020. That's a COVID album and shit.
Wow.
And over
Okay.
the time period, brothers still had to go out there and do what they had to do. I was doing Power, and Havoc was doing his overseas shit. Plus, he in that time period, he did a whole album with Styles P and a few other people. He got some shits coming and shit. So have been working. I've been working. Hopefully this shit'll come out not this year, next year.
How
But
many
it's
joints?
gonna. We shot a visual for one of the records and shit, a quick one.
Okay. How many joints?
We're going for 12.
You know I got Havoc in my top 5 producers of all time. Of all
Oh,
time.
dude, man.
Of all time.
Big H, man. What can I say about
Yeah.
H, man? He dealing with a lot though. So when y'all see Havoc and shit, just know that shit with P hurt him real bad and shit. You know
Word.
what I mean? And I'm not saying when y'all see him, it's like no, don't feel sorry for them. Just give him an encouraging word. Let him know and shit.
Absolutely.
Like give him his
Absolutely.
flowers. Let him know how he impacted your life and shit. Just him, the whole Mobb Deep movement, his production, his verses, everything. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sometimes niggas need to hear that shit.
For real. You know what I mean?
Word.
Did you guys have the best Sane Eyes commercial?
Nah.
You don't think so?
Nah, I like Snoops and them. They shit was dope.
Yeah, I still got y'all over. I love you, Snoop. I, like my nigga.
Yeah.
I got the Wu though. The Wu. I
Nah,
got the
actually, I
Wu.
think me and Redman's was better than everybody's, man. For
Yeah,
the
you a Red
special
Man
group.
was fire though, son. I ain't gonna
That
hold you
shit
though.
was that
You was
shit was
hot.
crazy. Oh, here they
Hot.
come with the
Yeah.
ruggers of the drug. Got the the venomous of medicine. Now that you know with that crooked that literate.
Ah!
Every you do what it do when you rule that your round fruit juices. Alcohol double deuces. Taste
Mm.
for the truth is. Stop lying through your tooth is. What are
Woo!
you, a doofus? Acting like you ruthless.
Chris.
Guzzle that St. Eyes. Crooked eye flies through the skies.
Wow.
Uh,
You and Red Man. Where did that come from though? Did that come from
Kevin Lyles.
huh?
Kevin Lyles.
Kevin Loud.
Baltimore legend. Baltimore legend right there.
Shout out
Matter of
Kevin
fact, I
Loud, man.
think Kevin was one of the writers of, fun fact, um, Don't Forget My Number. That joint, Millie Vanilli.
Wow. Vanilla
Yeah.
got face.
The Millie Vanilli song.
The lip sync ass
Don't,
niggas.
I forgot the fucking record, but the record that go, don't forget my, hey girl, don't forget my number. What's the fuck? You know what I'm talking
I
about.
know. I grew up with Millie Vanilli. The lip sync ass niggas. I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
And Living Color did a rendition of them and all that. I remember that.
Hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But Kevin Lyles had hands in that right there. But he put that together. It was a month of the man tour. They wanted to see if it worked, and it did. It fucking worked. Shit, I think just by putting me with Redman, it elevated myself. It elevated him, but elevated me even more just for being in his presence because I learned so much being
Mm,
around that dude, especially about showmanship. So if y'all say I'm a top performer, it's because of him.
wow. Okay. Wow. So when you guys did How High, man, how was that session, man?
I snuck to do that shit. I wasn't supposed to do that. I was actually supposed to get another video from my album and shit. But I went to do the How High joint. I'm glad I did it too.
We are too, sir.
Facts.
Hey, we went to Branson a lot playing that, but that's a different story.
Every now and then you get a taste of the original one that he originally did. We didn't hear,
uh,
I mean, the one that we did for the video, I didn't hear that shit till I showed up to the video. I was like, what's this shit? What's this new shit? Like, oh shit. But he good for the shit like that, you know? And when I did the record, you know, like I said, I stuck to do it and I'm glad I did it. That shit went platinum. The fucking
are,
single went platinum and shit. It's like, wow, two dudes from the hood did good.
are you two guys the epitome of what chemistry looks like?
No, there's a lot of dudes like that. Jada and Styles, you
Well,
know?
remember now, he's from Jersey, you're from Staten Island. You're with the Wu, he's with Def Squad. And you, when you guys
Yeah.
got together, it was like
Oh,
almost
okay,
like
I
one
get what you're
person.
saying. I think the energy matched at that time.
It
You know what I
damn
mean?
sure did. Holy
Plus, we
shit.
did a lot of the same drugs. Hey. Then when you add Keith Murray to the mix, woo,
Oh Lord, Murray, I love you, my nigga.
we was space cadets out there, man, just having fun, man. It was all good too, all good, man. Till it
Y'all
wasn't.
chemistry was unmatched, man. I
Yeah,
mean, Jesus Lord. I remember
yes,
seeing
sir.
y'all when I went to the Hard Knock Life tour and everything. Listen, I know X gets a lot of love for his before. I thought at DMX, that nigga's performances
Absolutely,
were
absolutely.
crazy. But y'all two niggas though,
Without,
woo,
yeah, yeah,
y'all
yeah.
Busta Rhymes is different, man. Y'all two Busta Rhymes are
Without
different.
the marquee too. I mean, it was dope being on. It was like again,
Mhm,
Jay a good dude. He could have put anybody on that tour and shit. And the way he did that, I don't know if it had any Def Jam influence to it,
mhm.
but he personally would come out and watch me and Redman show and give us a quick dap after we performed and shit. So I'm pretty sure like it wasn't a regretful decision. Again, we would go out sometimes and the lights would still be on because we were going after the opener, which was Clue.
Yes.
Lights still be on, people still be coming to their seats and shit.
Mhm,
But I ain't gonna lie, even those early shows where the lights was on, by the time we finished that motherfucker, it was packed,
mhm.
you know? And after I say the first four shows, word got out, little reviews, people started showing up early.
Earlier.
Yeah, they started showing up early and shit, catching that red meth shit. These niggas be flying, bro. They be tearing shit up there, you know? And we won the Source Award for Best Performance that year.
Not surprised, as you should.
Yeah, we didn't get to accept it on stage because that fight happened that year and shit, you know.
Mm.
So when we finally, yeah, it was dope though. It was pretty cool to even have that experience. So you
Did,
know, it's a motherfucker to have a hit record and be in the club while it's on, you know.
wow, that's wild. Damn.
Yeah, and people going crazy. And shit, oh shit, DJ play it again. Yeah,
do, do you feel like I felt like this? I don't know if you feel me on this. I felt you diffused the tension at the Source Awards.
when with the Snoop
Before
Dogg and all that
let me
crazy.
tell you why I felt that way. So you don't think I'm bullshitting you. I felt the mere fact that you ran from the stage to the crowd and,
Yeah,
and you told niggas get up and you because niggas trying to look hard at gangster and shit. You was
yeah.
and then you got niggas had to be okay, man. We hear you, man. We can't front no more.
I'm glad you brought that up because in that moment when we was on stage, we saw all that tension. We was sitting right there next to them niggas and all that shit, right? So we felt all that crazy tension and shit, right? And most of the people in the front and in those first seven rows was all celebs and hanger-ons and things of that. You ain't gonna get no love there.
Mm,
It was like y'all niggas sit y'all asses down. Y'all do what y'all do. I see the love because people was rocking in the back. The fans bring the
yeah.
pain as they shit. You dig? So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go out here and fucking get it. Halfway through the fucking performance, I stop and I look and I'm like, it's out there. I went out there and got it.
Showmanship. That's why I say you're my illest niggas to ever do live performance. Meth, the mere fact you broke that shit down to me is why I got you a top 5 live performance all time.
Appreciate you,
You,
brother.
you basically read the room, right?
Yeah, I read the room,
You read the room.
absolutely. And I saw like those the fans back there. These are not the fans.
Hmm. What was it crazy for y'all? Because during the East Coast West Coast beef, respectfully, niggas didn't say y'all names at all.
And what?
In no type of beef. Nobody said they didn't like the Wu. East Coast niggas, the East
Yeah.
Coast niggas, they had no beef with y'all. The West Coast niggas, they have no beef with y'all. So do y'all
That's
feel
because
like
there was no social media. But it was a few things that happened here and there, but a lot of it was old dirty bastard. You know, he
mm,
would go on stage at somebody else's show, take the mic, and out of respect of Wu-Tang, brothers would fall back, but it's like they got a show to do and it's time limits on shit, and Dirty wouldn't want to get a mic back.
McGirt, man? Nigga,
Just crazy shit. So little discrepancies here and there, but never anything major where it was like, it reached the media or anything like that. Nah, we wasn't them type of dudes and shit. We stayed in our lanes.
do you feel that you got flack for being on Tupac's All Eyes on Me album? Do you feel that way? New York
I ain't
niggas
feel
feeling
ain't
it?
nobody say shit to me.
Nobody was gonna say nothing to you anyways. Sir,
I mean,
respectfully, nobody was gonna say nothing to you, sir.
nobody ever said nothing to me about it, not even big. You know what I mean? And I
Mm,
was still tight with him and shit. Still saw him at shows and things like that. Matter of fact, before he passed, I saw him. Cease
mm.
came and tapped me in the club. We was in Billboard Live, I believe it was called.
Wow.
And Cease came and tapped me. He's like, "Yo, Big over there and shit." And Big couldn't walk at this time. He had been in a car accident and
Mm.
shit.
Little
Went
C's
over
cripple
there.
me. Little C's cripple me.
Yeah, real talk. So I go over, I say what's up to Big and shit, but it was popping in that club. So I gave him a little small talk, blah 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 blah, hug and shit. Went back to doing what I was doing and shit. So we were still good, It wasn't nothing. Plus, honestly, the origin of the record was a Dog Pound record. I did it for the Dog Pound. But when
Yes.
Pop
Okay.
had came home,
Mm.
and this was just my assessment of it, and fucking Daz just confirmed the shit. I said that they was probably giving Pac all the records they had just so he can get this album done or get his album done. It was like, here, Pac, you home now, nigga. Take all our shit. Same shit we would do if one of ours came home. This is all our shit. Here, take what you need, nigga. And that record was one of the joints and shit. And Pac hopped on it. Love that record though. He killed that shit, murdered that shit. I have no regrets about any of that. And nobody ever said shit to me about it ever.
Your face, your facial expression speaks volumes.
I'm just saying it would be stupid to do that shit, especially if you don't even know the whole story behind it and shit.
Right,
You know what
right,
I
right,
mean? For
right,
real,
right.
it'd be real dumb to do that shit.
Let me make,
I rocks with the West Coast. They know that
mm,
shit too, man.
mm.
Regardless, I rocks with the West Coast and shit. Niggas over there always show love.
I felt you had the best verse though.
Appreciate you.
Met the man on point like icicles. Yeah, I was fucking with
Mm.
that
I
shit.
was on one, man. I was on one, boy.
That
Plus,
nigga
I
was
was
on
comfortable. We did that shit in Daz's crib, in his
word.
crib.
Yo,
Word.
niggas, yo, real quick, niggas sleep on Daz as a producer also. And Daz is a fucking dope ass producer, my nigga.
Dad's
For
a
real, for
monster,
real.
man. I would love to
Daz is
work with
nice.
Daz Dilly. Maybe get a couple of joints done. Real
Mm-hmm.
shit.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel your B sides if you want to do a verses? Do you like doing B side records like Torture? Like I would love to see you do Torture one day. And shit. I love Torture. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
I don't even remember them verses and shit.
Woo, Lord.
But me and Redman recently did a verses, and there was a lot of B sides on
Yes,
there.
one of B sides
You
was.
know,
Yeah.
regardless to how the verses go, I think me and Redman should be top five. Regardless, even though you had certain verses that was
Uh,
like main events,
uh,
Jeezy and fucking Gucci Man, because of the backstory of that.
yeah.
I mean, the locks with
Dipset.
Dipset because of the whole event and how that shit went down. Fire,
Mm-hmm.
fire.
Mm-hmm.
But me and Redman, we did a verses with each other, not against. That's
Right.
one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Two, we made it a show concept because before that they was just doing it,
Mm-hmm.
in a room, two guys in
Right.
front of a camera. We made it into a show. We had a presentation, the whole shit,
Mm-hmm.
and not just that. This is my main reason. That Superman lover shit that Red did on stage.
Two Man Lover series. Yes, sir. Talk to me.
Now, mind you, we rehearsed the records as far as getting what songs we're gonna do and shit, but we did not rehearse that cape shit. We had never done anything like that before, so all this shit is improvised as we going along.
On the fly. Okay.
And I'm slapping this bitch, and I'm like, this shit look fly as fuck. Hold on, let me just, rock with my dude for a second and shit. And hey, when he took that knee at the end, I mean, when he started off with the knee shit, it just felt right. It was like, yeah, this motherfucker. That's why I say Redman tops, bro. That boy, he different, man. That nigga
Listen,
different.
I always say, niggas, when niggas talk about the very first 3 albums of their career, you gotta throw Redman in that motherfucking conversation, son. This album,
Absolutely. He's
them
still
first
a
three
monster on
albums
the
mean
mic.
everything to me.
I mean, I put him in the verses with anybody and shit. And I don't mean like record for record
Mm-hmm.
bars.
Bars. Yeah, Doc was that nigga,
Period. Like, yeah, all right, y'all. Oh, y'all nigga, hold up. Fuck Doc. Fucking room go quiet. All the air gets sucked out real fast. Like,
Yeah. But both of y'all got some dope beats. Like Simon Says remix, the Tupac
yeah,
joint. Y'all
yeah,
got a lot of 4321, Limp Bizkit joint, the Fred
yeah.
Durst. We have a lot of fucking, you know what I'm saying? A lot of B-side joints and
The
everything.
discography is crazy, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously, crazy, man. I can't remember half that shit. I don't blame Lil Wayne for not remembering his shit. Word. Like I show up to video shoots and shit and be having to do little slick shit because I don't be remembering the words, cover the mouth up, things like that.
Mm.
It's wild.
I say Wu-Tang Forever is the greatest double CD of all time.
Mm,
Yes, I got it over Diplomatic Immunity, Tupac, All Eyes on Me,
mm,
Nas, I got
mm.
Jay Z. I love you, Hov, but yes, I got Wu-Tang Forever is the greatest. Biggie, I love you too, my nigga. But respectfully, yo, hold on. Didn't y'all drop the same year as Big though? Right after death and Wu-Tang Forever? 97.
Did it? It might have.
97.
Yeah, yeah. I
97. Yeah,
think
because
it
we dropped
did.
to Cal 2000 dropped 98.
Yeah,
And then you and Meth dropped 99. The Blackout dropped 99, right? That was 99.
yeah. I think '99.
No,
Yeah.
I know your discography better than you, sir. I know your career better than you. I know your whole career. No,
I
but
don't know them dates though, but yeah, you
yeah, I know the
got
dates,
that
man.
one.
Trust me, I know the
Yeah,
dates. So
yeah.
let me ask you, going into Wu-Tang Forever, man, was it more like when y'all formed like Voltron, everybody was comfortable in their skin, niggas already dropped they solo albums? Was it seemed like the album was fun to make?
Nah, not for me at least. I
Ooh,
mean,
at least. Whoa.
it's more. It was like you got a bunch of dudes that been solo artists for a while
Right?
coming back as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got ideas and shit. I'ma speak for myself. I wasn't focused at all. There's a lot of shit going on in my personal life, and yeah, I was just jotting again. Blah, 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 blah. But certain dudes, Ghost, for instance, very focused. Ghost killed that motherfucking album, and he went on a tear after that.
Yeah,
It's
Ghostface
like,
too.
yeah, he went on a tear before that, but he was already killing them. But after that, it was like he hung on every word this dude said. It was like the pen game was just fluent as fuck. It's a lot of highlights on that motherfucker, that Fab album. A lot of motherfucking
Man,
highlights.
I love projects, man. You Ray. What's up with you Ray and Ghost when y'all do tracks together? That shit just be sounding like, damn.
We did that massacre joint. Them niggas ain't show up to the studio. Oh shit, they was just sending me joints and shit,
The
you know.
Simmons joints.
They was sending me joints. I was like, all right, I'm gonna rhyme on the shit, whatever and shit.
Mm,
I ain't like the way that was made either. And even after the fact of the promotion and all that,
mm,
it was just crazy. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we can get a do over or something.
mm. 30 for you. 36 Chambers or Wu-Tang Forever for you? Well, that's hard to
36, 36.
really.
Yeah, because that was our beginnings right there, and it was still everything was still genuine.
Got you. Okay,
Or
word. What is it about Inspector Deck and setting off these verses, man?
I've been telling people about that. So this is why when people ask me what my top five is, I'm like, I could really utilize this to bring attention to something that normally would not get the attention that it deserves and shit. And the first shit popped in my head was Deck because for years you hear this man murdering shit, but it's like, are y'all really hearing them? Because I don't. There's no top fives that can even or I haven't seen one that even puts him anywhere near it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna hang my hat on this one because when they go back and review this man's catalog, they're gonna see I'm not lying. And sure enough, people are going back and they're reviewing this man's catalog, and they're like, "Holy shit!" It's like I just took the blue pill, or is it the red pill? I get confused with these things. I don't know shit. It's like, damn, Meth was right. Even if he was trolling, this nigga was right. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I am right. Dak has always been a master at fucking penmanship, you know? And it's about time people start realizing that shit. I mean,
Was
verse of the century is one hell of a accolade to have with that triumph verse.
so stay right there with me, Triumph. Is it a no-brainer to make him set up that verse though? For him to set up the whole song, that whole verse he got, Obama atomically, Socrates philosophy.
I
Is he?
think he was just done first.
Oh, he's done first. Okay, okay,
So
okay.
that might be it too. That's why he sets off a lot of them, with the exception of maybe Cream. Um,
Because you're second right after him on Triumph. You're second right after
yeah, I came right after him and shit
That's the
again.
time.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. How do you come after that though? That motherfucker killed that shit. I don't even
Yeah.
think I heard his verse.
I thought Deck also Uncontrolled Substance. If memory serves me right, I don't think that was the right album. That was the first album they want to drop. Right then, something happened with his first album. They took a while for the drop or some shit. I think Deck
I think it was timing.
timing. Okay, okay.
Yeah, you would have to ask Dak. He could tell you better than me.
Yeah, that's my guy right there. I rock with Deck and also.
Yeah.
What's your relationship with Rage Against the Machine? Because a couple of shows I went to with Rage Against the Machine were actually dope.
I saw Tom Morello not too long ago at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We
Mm-hmm.
presented Mary with her fame. I don't know what you call that shit. But we
Mm-hmm.
presented Mary with her shit. Ran the time. They still cool. You know, I would love to do something with them. I would love to do something with Zach. You know, surprise them. You know. Yeah, I fucks with their music too and shit. Them System of a Down as well. Those are our guys. Shavo, I'm looking at you, kid. Yeah, our relationship is good with those dudes. I love what they stand for too.
What does it say about you that Nas, Buckshot Shorty, Craig Mack, Pooba, CL Smooth,
Mm-hmm.
Tribe Called Quest, Jay
Mm,
with Damager, whoever you want
mm.
to name out there, that Big said, yo, my man, listen, for my very first album, the only motherfucking guest feature I want is the Italian Stallion, Johnny Blaze on my shit, my nigga. Don't give me nobody else. Okay, just give me John, and we good. And we out of here. What does that mean to you, though, man?
Everybody else said no. Nah, I'm fucking with you. I mean, in hindsight, of course, it feels great. You know,
Yes.
he's one of the greats. But
Mm-hmm.
at that point in time, we were all just starting out, and that was another record I wasn't supposed to do that I just went and did. You know what I mean? But we were all just starting out, and I'm pretty sure Big knew he had something. We did too, because he's always, I mean, from the Who's the Man soundtrack, Party and Bullshit, which I was introduced to by my man Dan Smalls,
Okay.
another Statue of Liberty alum. He worked
Really?
at the statue too, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He gave me that album. It was on Uptown MCA,
Mm.
and that record was on there. A few others, but that's the one that stood out for me. And yeah, I ran into him after a show at the Muse, and he was like, "Yo, I want to do this record with you." Blah blah blah. I was like, "All right, we can do that shit." And the rest is history, man. Very humble dude, very good dude, funny as fuck. Jokes,
Everyone says about Biggie, every time you see somebody,
jokes. That nigga had
yeah.
jokes. He was one of them niggas. You know what I mean? He could snap. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
That's what we call Joning or
Jones
whatever the
and Jones,
fuck.
you
Yeah,
like I say,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, man, like very funny dude and shit. And it's definite honor though. You know him and Pop.
This nigga worked with Biggie, Pac, DMX.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Worked with some fucking greats, man. Good lord, man. Talk to me about the other songs you had. The Round and Round song with John L. How'd you get on that? It made sense to
Kevin
me.
Lyles.
Kevin
Kevin
Lyles.
Lyles.
Mm,
John L is a great, great artist, great talent, man. I wish her career would have progressed more than what it did, especially her Afrocentricity. You know what I mean? That brown skin, nothing like that, baby.
mm.
Um, but you know, these things happen and shit. But great record. High Tech produced it and shit.
Not a
But
high
that was
tech.
Kevin Lyles, definitely
Mm,
Kevin Lyles.
mm. Wow. To Cal 2000, man. Talk to me, man. How did you and Left Eye link up though? Not
I've
surprised,
always
though.
been a fan of Lefty. Always. TLC, come on now.
Yes, absolutely,
Come
absolutely.
on now. And she wore a Wu-Tang shirt to one of our shows and shit. You know what I mean? So I put out the word that I would like to get on the record. I didn't know what capacity it would be. So I just wrote a hook and asked her to do the shit over. I'm pretty sure she came there to rhyme. In hindsight, it's like, oh shit. Damn, I should have let her get her shit off and shit. But
Mm,
it was cool. She showed up to the studio, all that. Very, very down to earth girl. Very down to earth girl. She'll be missed.
yes. All this Donald Trump talk, sir. And back in the day, you had a Donald Trump intro and everything. Shit,
Well, a skit, yeah, a skit. That was
yeah.
Russell.
That was Russell. Okay.
Yeah, that was Russell. Because I told him I needed some skits on my
Janet
album
Jackson
and
shit
shit,
also. Janet Jackson also.
and the ones that I personally asked for was Janet Jackson
Yes.
and Chris Rock and Ed Lover
Mm,
as well. Um, and then that one was a surprise. The Janet one was a surprise too because nobody had confirmed on whether she'd do it or not. So when I heard that, I was ecstatic.
mm.
But yeah, Russell Simmons,
Do you like that album?
huh?
You like the Cal 2000? You like it? How you feel about
Um,
that?
it's an album. It's an album. I like the process by which it was made. I think it's a dope album. I ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
lie. I do.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites is Retro Godfather and shit. And
Mm-hmm.
I was on the boards on the majority of them songs, all the drops and shit like that. That's me. That's
Ah,
definitely me. I co-produced Judgment Day, the title
okay.
joint and shit. Um, it was a fun process. That was one of the funnest albums I made. It just was a long process and shit. I went way over budget. But that was just the faith that the label had in me. I think I did 407,000 that first week.
We,
So they
we
made
all we
that
all
and
went
then
to the
some.
store. We all went to the store to get it, sir. We all went
That was fire too.
to Cop
It
Shop,
was
you know.
yeah, yeah,
The makeup's the breakup song with D'Angelo, right? Do
yeah.
you do you feel it should have took off more than it did?
No, it was what it was with that too as well and shit.
Mm,
It was you can't make lightning strike twice, and it was a obvious play on all I need.
yes. Mm,
Let's get the women back. Blah blah
mm,
blah blah. This that and the third. If it was up to me, I probably wouldn't have picked that single. But this is me having faith in the label because I didn't want to put all I need out before, and they were right about that. So let's see what happens with this. And it was what it was. D'Angelo's an amazing artist, and I was glad he did the record and shit. Some
you and
people love
Redman
it.
was on the Voodoo album, right? Was you and Redman on the Voodoo
Yeah, he
album?
was on the Wu album. Yeah, he was on a couple of them and shit.
No, D'Angelo's Voodoo album, I think it was called. Wasn't it
That
D'Angelo's
was
second
me and
album?
Red. Yeah,
It was
both of
Redman,
us.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We did that with him too. That
All right.
came after, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It
We
came out.
recorded that in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, after a show.
Mm. Okay. And obviously, you and Redman, the Blackout album, classic, man. That how much fun was that to do doing that album, the Blackout, with you and Redman?
Again, I had just came off making the album, so it was
You
like,
never stop, man. You never stop. Jesus
I'm in there
Christ.
like, oh, damn. Ah, ah.
That Fire album. LL had a fire verse on one of them joints he was on with y'all.
LL killed that shit. Four
Killed that
seasons.
shit.
4 seasons,
Four
yeah.
seasons. He
But
killed that shit.
Shows up to the studio with an axe in his hand and shit. Like, I came to chop heads off, brother. Pause. I came to decapitate you guys.
Mm. Wait,
Period.
this say to LL right quick. When you first heard his verse on 4 3 2 1, did you know off the rip that was my cannabis? He was coming at cannabis?
No, I
Okay.
didn't. Red from experience had a feeling because he was there for
Mm.
the Rampage joint with
Bro,
the
you know,
PMD and
LL
that whole thing.
killed that shit too. He killed Rampage to this shit. The
Yeah.
Ripper, the Master, the Overlord, they
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
at
yeah. He
that shit.
definitely was going at P, and I had no idea. Red confirmed that shit though. Like, yeah, that was for P. He was going at PMD and shit. That's why he's not in the video. And I looked and I was like, he's not in the video.
Wow, son,
If
that's
you watch the
crazy.
video and shit, it's silhouette shit like that. He's not in that video at
Wow,
all. So
hey.
when me and Red did our verse, it was just us and him.
Mm.
Then there was a version with DMX, and that was it. And next thing I know, there was a remix of some shit. Or next thing I know, it was Master P and Cannabis, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know, they had
Right?
all kind of mixes, but yeah, I had no idea he was going at Cannabis at all until later on.
Wow, that's wow. That's wow. Cannabis is fire, man. I thought that,
Yeah,
yo, that brother there was fire,
I
man.
think he just there's a lot of unfortunate events that happened in Cannabis's career that, you know,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
only, if only, right?
right,
If
yeah.
only.
If only. Your verse on Shadowboxing on Jizza album, Liquid Swords, man. Where do you rank your verse on Liquid Swords in your verses for
One
you?
of the best verses on that fucking album.
Hold on, did you get Rhyme of the Month for that? Am I bugging?
Well, yeah, I did. I did.
For the
I did.
sauce, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I
I remember
think
that.
Dex should
Yeah,
have got it for Cold World, honestly, because that's one of
yeah,
the best verses
technical
on there.
world.
I mean,
Yeah.
the best verses on there are obviously Jizz's, but
Mm,
myself and Deck come close second and third.
mm. What is it about the Jizza, man? He's just flawless to me, son. He's just a flawless
He
rapper.
technical, just as technical and shit. Just
Mm,
as he is who he is. He's
mm.
an elder statesman. He ain't gonna like that shit.
Say the least, though, right? To say the least.
Serious cat right there, though. You don't want to fuck with Jizzle like that. Fun guy too. Fun,
Mm,
hilarious.
mm. You always show Capadonna a lot of love, though. What's it about Donna that
He the reason a lot of us rhyme.
I've always heard you say in the interviews. I've
Yeah,
always heard that.
Chef,
Mm,
myself, you God, shit. He was like, that was the dude. He was known on Staten Island for just that. For the whole time I've known him,
wow.
that's all he was known for, right there. Original Legita, Lord CD. It's crazy. He started a crew called GBK,
Okay.
Get Busy Crew. Chef was a
Mm,
part of it. Me and Chef was tight and shit. And I just wanted to get down with the crew and shit. But I only had like two rhymes, and Cap was like, no. He ain't know me though.
you
He
didn't
ain't
know
know
you.
me and shit. Nah, nah.
Mm,
So after a while and shit, being around in those ciphers and shit like that, he kind of embraced me, which was major for me because we looked up to the dude, still do.
mm,
And next thing I know, he's saying verses that he just wrote. He's letting me hear these shits, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm official now. I'm official now. Let me go home and get on my pen game and shit. Cap
mm,
heard me. And plus, we used to have these rap battles at this place called Park Villa, and he
mm.
would win all of them. He'd always win the money.
Wow, really? Donna?
Yeah, yeah. Every time, yeah. Every time he showed up, he'd win.
I thought Capadonna Pillage album was very slept on for me. I thought I was a big Wu
Yeah, a
Dog.
lot of that shit was. A lot of that shit was, man. A lot of it was. I had
Yes.
a dope verse on there as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who is Raider Ruckus? I always want to ask you. I'm glad I got you. I always want to ask you who's Raider Ruckus.
Block nigga, that's my dude right there.
You always
Ruckus.
shot that. It's like I feel like I know that nigga. I don't know him, but I feel like I know him just because of you.
He like one of those dudes you always see him around. He in the background, but he there. You know what I mean? Even if he in the background, he there. Um, Grew up with Ruck.
Mm,
Um, Hustler.
hustler.
Hustler. Ill with the dice. CeeLo, like ill with them dice, man. I don't know how he do it. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Just he got his own little company too, Ruck Juice. Check him out on Instagram, Raider Ruckus.
mm.
Yeah, the real Raider Ruckus. Matter of fact, that's it.
Was the W album? Was that an album that was rushed and not the chemistry was kind? Everybody was kind of into their own world. I felt that album was kind of like that.
I was in my own world for sure. I can't
Okay.
answer for everybody else and shit.
Mm,
But again, like you have demands from labels or fans, and you want to do things for fans and shit. But sometimes it ain't always right, especially if your heart ain't in it and shit. Mine's wasn't.
mm. Do you feel like y'all got flack for bringing other people on? Because I remember my man was like, "Oh, why is Nas on here? Why is Busta Rhymes on here?" I'm like, "Why is Redman?" I'm like, "My nigga, Redman had met Wu-Tang's family right there."
That's
And
just
Nas,
gatekeepers. That's just gatekeepers because if our shit was solid consistently over the years and shit, as far as Wu Tang albums and shit, nobody would have shit to say.
Right.
It's more or less like, well, I want to hear more of this guy. I want to hear more of this guy and shit. This is probably why they ain't as successful as they was before. Nah, nah, nah.
Mm,
We need more chef, or we need more ghost. Or no, the thing is this, motherfucker. When that first album was done, a lot of that material and shit was already gelled together. It was already songs that we was doing previously to even record, and so
mm,
that chemistry, that synergy was there already and shit. When
mm.
you trying to do that shit on the fly and there's no prep and there's no synergy or anything happening and you all
Right.
there just to get the job done and go home,
Right.
of course it's gonna be flaws. Of course it is.
Absolutely. 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 What is it about you supporting the battle rappers the way you do? Cortez, Ill
Them niggas
Will,
is nice.
Big
Bottom
T.
line, you can't put more than that on it. Them niggas is nasty with it, man. I applaud excellence, period. Especially black excellence. And the way motherfuckers, it's just the way they put together words. And even I say black excellence, the white boys is doing it. I mean, all coaches. I done seen motherfuckers battling in the Philippines in their language. I seen motherfuckers battling in India in their fucking language. I mean, this shit is worldwide. It's like that influence can't be fucking matched because of the fact that it's so raw.
Mm,
And it's just, this is just you and the person you're facing in a room full of people. And that's your judge,
mm.
right?
Right.
You judge by your peers, because that's a room full of peers. These are people that follow this shit so much. They know if you recycling bars. You
Facts,
know what I'm
man.
saying?
They call y'all so
They to
fast.
the point where some niggas feel so much pressure from knowing that they in a room full of peers, they choke. And they rehearsed this shit. Okay? They wrote this shit. So while they in that big room, to choke in that big room, that's that hot seat. It get really hot after that, boy. You know
Mm,
what I'm talking about? It get
right.
really hot after that. Once you choke, that's it, nigga. You get that brain fart, you finito.
Out of here, man. Out of here. Who do you like right now in battle rap? Anybody
Mm.
particular? Anybody watching? Like, okay, I like,
Shit.
All right, here's a better question. Did you watch Nitty and Lux?
With who?
Rum Nitty versus Loaded Lux. Did you get to watch that
No, I
battle?
ain't seen that yet. Man, there's a lot that I haven't seen
When you get a
yet.
chance,
Shit,
try to
the
watch that.
last one that I just watched, shit, damn, Sick
Sick as fire. Sick is nice.
versus
Math, you ready for this? He's battling Rum Nitty
Twerk,
today.
and I fell asleep on the shit, man. I was tired.
Hold
No,
on.
no, no, no. It was Sick versus Clips. Was it versus Clips? Yeah,
No,
it
no.
was Sick versus
King of the
Clips.
Dot. King of the Dot. Yeah, King of the Dot
Sick
joint.
versus Clips. Yep, King of the
Yeah.
Dot. My bad.
hmm
No, I watched that whole shit. I watched that whole shit, and I'm not gonna say who won.
Okay. Well, today, Real Sick is battling Rum Nitty today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You are right
Rum
there.
is dope.
Yeah,
I
Rum is.
mean, yo, for real, it's like the OGs still putting it down. That's why I feel like they getting booked more than the young boys right now because the crowd is biased. And they have to admit it at this point. The crowd is very biased. It's like they love familiarity. It's gonna really
Uh,
take a new cat to come out, a PG to come out that's just
yes.
totally different from everybody, and he gotta
Uh,
murder it. And he has to be flawless for at least 6 to 8 months.
he said 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months, because the OGs ain't gonna take the new nigga, especially if
Uh,
what I mean, he rolling and shit. It's like, fuck, I got to battle. I done solidified myself already, nigga. I ain't battling this nigga, but he
mm,
gonna get a few niggas. He gonna catch a couple of niggas, and then boom. You know what I mean? Like
mm.
easy starting to get his feet back up underneath him again. You know what I'm
Yes,
talking
he is.
about?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Um, but again, it's like I said, it be them rooms, man. And sometimes, life weighing on you, and then a nigga giving you life in your face, your life. And it's
Yes.
like, damn, how this nigga know that shit? It's like,
Yeah.
wow. It's like, but you can't show that shit on your face. Next thing you know, you thinking about what this nigga done said about you that done really fucking sparked your fucking anger, like threw you off your whole shit. By the time it's time for your verse, you get halfway through, it's like, oh shit, damn,
Damn. Damn.
damn. And I'll attribute that to, and I'm just going to attribute that to, you don't mean what you saying right now. You
Mm.
wrote it when you meant what you was writing,
But right now,
But in this moment, that vibe, he took that shit right out of you, nigga. So you don't
hey,
mean what you saying right now. That's why you choked in that moment, right there. That's your
wow,
choke. And that's just my assessment. That's just my little
right,
philosophy.
right.
Sound fly as fuck though.
Yeah.
Imagine, right? Nigga done snatched your soul. You can't even remember your shit, or you ain't saying your shit the way you meant it.
Woo. Did you have fun doing the battle with Math?
Yeah, man, my guy.
Mm.
Very smart dude. That dude is like he's smart as fuck. His mama probably beat his ass every day, let him go to school. Like
Grind
in a
respect the
good way.
nigga.
In a good way, respectfully.
Yeah, that's my nigga, Math.
Respectfully.
That's
You
my
know what I'm
brother,
talking
Math.
about? Made him go to
That's
school
Brooklyn
every
all day,
day.
man.
Word.
Did you all right? The backlash you guys, I know you saw the backlash that y'all got, right? How you feel
Yeah.
about that little
I don't
backlash y'all
care.
got?
I don't care. I don't care. It's not my realm. So what the fuck? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
More of that shit was targeted at math anyway and shit, and I don't think it was warranted. Anyway, you know, he was trying something new, doing something
Yeah.
different and shit. So let's be creative, people, and stop hating. That's all.
Math, let me tell you, man, I appreciate you, brother. When I tell you this is legendary for me, just to chop it up with you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I to tell you what you meant for me, my hip hop soul is a different story as a guy coming up in New York City, man. I appreciate you and got love for you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Respect, three. Salute to you, brother. This was long overdue, but we got it done.
Yes, we got it done, my brother. Love, man. Appreciate you, Takalian.
Yes, sir.
My nigga, man. Shout out to Method